Okay, we're going to get started now. It's been a long, hard road for all of us. But now we've cleared every 60-vote hurdle. Along the way, we stand a few short steps from the most significant finish line we've had in Congress for many decades. This debate has been dominated by partisanship and politics. But I don't see this as 60 Democrats versus 40 Republicans. I see it as 60 leaders who stood up to insurance companies and stood up for working families all across America. I see it as 60 leaders who know it's long past time we declare health care a right and not a privilege. I see it as 60 leaders who refuse to let fear overwhelm the facts. I'm honored to be here with members of this great Democratic caucus. You see, health insurance reform is about people. It's about 500,000 Nevadans, 540,000 to be exact, who today have no health care, but will soon have the coverage they have long since needed. It's about Nevada families fortunate enough to already have insurance, but who will soon save as much as $1,600 a year in their premiums. We stand on the doorstep of history. We recognize that, but much more important, we stand so close to making so many individual lives better. There are so many people who have worked hard on this legislation. We have members of the Health Committee, the Finance Committee, we have the chairmen of those committees, we have Senate leadership, chairmen of other committees. This has been a team effort. And it's really unfortunate for me that we're going to have a small number of people speak today. But I think it's important that we understand that Senator Baucus, Senator Dodd, Senator Harkin have been involved in this because of their committee assignments. Just because their committee assignments has taken the forefront does not mean that those people who have not had chairmanships of those committees haven't been heavily involved. I must say this. Standing next to me is Barbara Mikulski. We came to the Senate together. We got on the Appropriations Committee together. And for me, Barbara, Senator Mikulski, it brought a tear to my eye when she was 60th vote today. Congratulations, Barbara. Okay. Baucus, Dodd, and Harkin.
Thank you, Leader. Today is a victory for American families, a victory for small business owners, a victory for our economy and for the American economy for generations to come. When we started on this path more than a year ago, we knew it wouldn't be easy, but we have worked tirelessly to deliver more affordable health care, to deliver an insurance market that works for patients, not profits, to deliver billions of dollars in tax credits to help families and small businesses purchase insurance, and to control health care costs and get American families, businesses, and the economy back on track. Today, we can all be proud of what this bill accomplishes. We can be proud that every American in every state will benefit from new consumer protections and a more stable, secure health care system. Passing health care reform has challenged each of us. Together, we discussed, we debated, we struggled to find workable solutions to complex problems. But together, we persevered. Why? Because too many Americans were counting on us. I thank my colleagues for the extraordinary dedication and courage to lead. Leader Reid especially, Chairman Dodd, Chairman Harkin, and particularly my colleagues of the Finance Committee and Health Committees, but most importantly, all Democrats, all 60 of us, standing together courageously to getting health care passed this year. Leadership is not doing what's easy. Leadership is taking on what is difficult and what is right. We all know that the challenges we face in this legislation pale in comparison to the challenges millions of Americans face because of our broken health care system. Today, we can say we confronted those challenges, we lifted those burdens, and we did what is right. And I'm very, very proud to say that Americans won.
Well, let me, this is quite a moment, obviously, and for all of us standing here, the 60 of us who comprise the Democratic caucus, all can take great pride in this moment. But I'm confident I speak for all of us, and more importantly, for millions of Americans who have to recognize that every group of individuals has to have a leader. And we've been blessed indeed to have a leader in the name of Harry Reid, the Majority Leader. And we thank you, Leader, for your patience through all of this. I want to congratulate Max Baucus, my colleague with whom I've served for 35 years in Congress, Tom Harkin, with whom I've served as well for those same number of years, having arrived together on the very same day in January of 1975, for their work. I want to thank Barbara Mikulski and Patty Murray and Jeff Bingaman, along with Tom Harkin, who followed Ted Kennedy's lead and advice, and by forming some breakout groups that allowed us to develop the bill we did in the Health Committee, and the rest of the members of that committee. To congratulate Max's committee as well, and all the members who worked with him over those many, many months to produce this bill. And our staffs as well. I can't list, last evening I did, the members of my staff, Senator Kennedy's staff. I also want to thank Mike Enzie's staff. While we didn't end up voting for the bill, they contributed to the bill, and it's important they be remembered at a moment like this as well. This is an historic moment. The last time the Senate of the United States met on Christmas Eve was 1963, only weeks after President Kennedy's assassination, and they met to debate the Vietnam War. This is the second occasion when the Senate has met for as long a period of time as we have, 24 days. You have to go back to 1917, when the Senate met for 29 days. We now rank second in longevity for a period of time for the Senate to consider something as important as this bill that's before us. So there are moments in our nation's history where we who do serve in this body are reminded just what an honor it is to stand in this arena. Tomorrow the Senate will once again meet on Christmas Eve to pass historic legislation that will finally make decent health care a right for every American citizen. The road to this moment has been long and difficult, as we all know. Progress always is. From the moment many Christmases ago when George Washington led a small band of troops across the Delaware River in a hailstorm, those who have attempted to make our union more perfect have always faced overwhelming odds. We too have been tested over these past weeks and months as we've pushed towards the passage of this legislation, and the final bill reflects the necessity of compromise. But we happy few in many ways, who have the privilege to cast our votes for health care reform tomorrow morning will never cast a more important vote in our careers. History will judge harshly those who have chosen the simple path of obstruction over the hard work of making change. It always does. But for those of us who have fought long and hard, in the memory of Ted Kennedy, who began this charge so many, many years ago, to build this legislation from a blank sheet of paper, made compromises when necessary, and stood firm in the face of long odds, we will always remember this day. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I'm going to be really short because there's an important meeting taking place in Senator Durbin's office shortly, and I make sure I make that meeting. Well, we owe enormous thanks to all of the senators who are standing here today, especially my two classmates, Senator Dodd and Senator Baucus, for shepherding this through. But every senator here, every senator on the Democratic side had some input into this legislation in shaping and forming it. And they can all be proud of the fact that we all bent over backwards on your committee, Max, on the Finance Committee, and on the Health Committee to conduct fair and open and thoroughly bipartisan proceedings. We held out our hand, but we were rebuffed. The leadership on the other side said no. Well, we wouldn't be here today without the great work of every senator here. But to single out one, of course, is one person who has been here every day since we started, has not been home, has not been with his family. I hope he gets out tomorrow to get home for Christmas Eve. Wouldn't be possible without Senator Reid. I said this yesterday, and I say it again. To put it in biblical terms, he has exhibited the patience of Job, the wisdom of Solomon, and the endurance of Samson. And he is on the verge of achieving what majority leaders going back over a half a century have failed to accomplish. With this vote today and the final vote tomorrow, make no mistake, Majority Leader Reid has earned his place in the Senate's history.